Hello, my name is Ryan Nichols, and today I will be going over the case study for the Dollar Tree logistics. So, we will be discussing the specific logistics system that Dollar Tree uses, and we will focus on its cost structure, the role of the economies of scale, and then I will provide my recommendation for future DC expansion. So using the data and the calculations in the sheets that were attached to the assignment, I'll compare the expansion options both quantitatively and qualitatively. So just a quick overview, the Dollar Tree Logistics Network is central to sustaining its low-cost retail strategy. So as efficient distribution directly supports its fixed $1 pricing model. So the company faces a strategic decision between expanding its existing Briar Creek, Pennsylvania distribution center or constructing a new facility in Joliet, Illinois. So the case outlines the detailed cost structure that includes both the fixed and the variable costs, operating costs for DC, such as labor, equipment, and utilities. And then outbound transportation costs are determined by distance, delivery frequency, and then the efficiency of the trucking system. So as the number of DCs increases, the fixed costs rise due to the additional infrastructure, but transportation costs fall as delivery routes shorten. So this illustrates the trade-off between the facility investment and then the network efficiency. So this analysis will highlight the economies of scale, the utilizations that are key to achieving cost efficiency, the high utilization spreads fixed costs across more cartons, lowering cost per unit, while underutilization inflates expenses. So the cost encourages Dollar Tree to assess not only the quantitative cost, but also the strategic factors like capacity flexibility, long-term scalability, and service levels. So through sensitivity analysis, the company can test how sales growth affects total cost under both options. So ultimately, the decision must balance short-term savings with the long-term goal of maintaining an agile, cost-efficient distribution system and network that's capable of supporting continued expansion. All right. So here we see the components of the cost structure that were listed in Exhibit 4 of the case study. So as you can see, Dollar Tree's cost structure consists of three major components. That's the fixed DC cost, the variable handling cost, and then the outbound transportation costs. So as we add more distribution centers, fixed facility costs rise due to buildings and equipment. However, transportation costs per store fall because average distances to the stores will decrease. So the challenge is balancing these opposing cost behaviors to minimize the total cost, the total supply chain cost. All right, so now we will look at the economies of scale. So economies of scale are crucial in Dollar Tree's logistics model. So larger, high utilization DCs operate more efficiently. Utilization directly influences cost per carton. So the closer we operate to full capacity, the lower the cost. However, underutilized DCs increase cost per unit. So beyond scale, Dollar Tree can apply Lean Sigma principles, for example, reducing motion waste and carton handling or improving the route scheduling to enhance throughput and cut variability. All right, so now we will be looking at the expansion option. So we compare two strategic choices. So that's either expanding an existing DC or opening a new facility. So using the provided data, we calculated the facility and the outbound transportation costs for both. So option one is to expand Briar Creek. So we see a lower fixed cost but a higher transportation cost here, as listed in the graphic attached. And then with option 2, which is to build the Joliet, Illinois DC, we see an increase in the capital expense but a reduction in delivery distance and trucking costs. So the quantitative trade-off highlights how network design drives total logistics efficiency. right, so now we'll look at the sensitivity analysis and then my recommendation. So when we did the test, we tested sensitivity to sales growth. We found that the new DC option remains cost effective even under a lower than expected growth due to its more balanced cost structure and scalability. Expanding an existing DC only works optimally under moderate growth. Therefore, I would recommend building a new DC, as it offers lower long-term unit costs and a better service coverage under multiple demand scenarios. So as you can see here with the option 2, which is the new Juliet DC location in Illinois, you can see the data support that. All right, and finally, so strategic implications. So in summary, we want to expand the DC network. Expanding the DC network improves transportation efficiency, but requires strong utilization and process discipline. So by combining scale with lean logistics and predictive analytics, Dollar Tree can sustain its low-cost position and agile store replenishment. So this expansion decision sets the foundation for scalable, cost-efficient growth that is aligned with the company's mission of providing value to customers. So as you can see here, we have the 10% sales growth or the negative 10% sales. So Joliet becomes more favorable because of the lower cost per carton. And then Briar Creek remains a slightly cheaper short term, but does not seem to be beneficial long term. So my recommendation, as stated before, is to build the Joliet DC for long term efficiency and for capacity flexibility. But thank you all for tuning in, and good night.